just talk a little bit about maybe we'll pick up from where we left the last time we did a live stream on YouTube. We were doing our live streams in preparation to climb Kilimanjaro, and that's been going on for every week, probably for 2 months leading to the actual climb, if I remember.
Yeah, maybe even more. I know we were going out hiking every
Yeah.
weekend, or we had some other activity. Weekends were they were not ours; they were the mountains.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So
hello,
hello, Dawn.
Turkish Delights. Oh, that was a good restaurant actually. We went there more than once.
Oh.
Man, but to like harken back now and like try to remember an exact dish.
So I had the lamb shank,
Shank,
the lamb shank.
lamb shank, SHANK.
And
Oh,
I
the lamb
think
stuff was good.
the lamb was good. Their food was really good. The
Yeah.
tea, the baklava, I think. Yeah, the
The
lamb shanks
baklava,
were
the ice
really
cream,
good.
right? Now I think everything that we saw on their menu looked good, and also seemed like it was a pretty typical menu, in terms of you have your kebabs and your keftas and your lamb and your beef and your chicken, etc. Um, it seemed like you had a pretty well-rounded menu there, and you
Yeah.
could pick whatever you wanted. We had some desserts from there though too that we liked picking up, like you were
Yeah.
saying, the baklava.
The baklava was
So
good, and the lamb shank was really good.
yeah,
Anyway, so Alaska is amazing. So have fun, enjoy Alaska.
that was before Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
That was the most previous big thing. So
So anyway, so just to kind of catch you up on what we've been up to after the climb. I don't know if you guys, some of you follow us on Instagram, some of you don't, but we pretty much keep things up to date on Instagram, at least in the stories and such. We did Kilimanjaro, we summited successfully, and then we spent 8 days on a safari in Tanzania exploring some of the national parks, and then spent a week in the island of Zanzibar. So all of the content, I put out a video about climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. If you guys haven't watched it already, go check it out. I think you will really enjoy it. And oh, there's a hummingbird. Anyway, so that safari content is still being worked. I really just have to make the time to get to it. Zanzibar is a beautiful island. I still have content for that. And then what did we do after Zanzibar?
we made our way to mainland Dar es Salaam on the bumpiest ferry ride ever.
Yes.
Everybody had a bucket. Everybody.
Yes,
And then after that, we flew to Amsterdam
Amsterdam.
and
Yeah.
spent a few days there on the layover,
Yes.
and then we made our way back to the States. So
Right. So Amsterdam, there's also a video that I have to put out there. I had just I'm falling behind with content. But Amsterdam was definitely a place that I did not really enjoy. Amsterdam, the city. Though we took a day to the suburbs or the countryside, and that was really pleasant. But other than that, well, I didn't like Amsterdam at all.
yeah, Amsterdam itself was definitely tourist heavy, and as a result of a lot of the cultural things that you associate with Amsterdam, a lot of that was pretty prevalent. It was kind of hard to escape it. There were plenty of nice things I liked about it. I love the biking aspect, and I
Yes.
do love their interconnected system of public transit.
Mm-hmm.
But I do agree that if we were to go give the Netherlands another chance, we would probably want to go check out some other places other than Amsterdam,
Sure.
because it does look like it's a beautiful country, but it wasn't one of the countries that we walked into and said, "Ooh,
Right.
we should live here." Right? That didn't happen when we necessarily walked out of the train station in Amsterdam. So
Yeah. And for me, it was my introduction to Europe. It's the first country that I've traveled to in Europe. I mean, other than Turkey. Turkey is kind of like half. Some of it is in Europe, some of it is in Asia. But oh my God, Amsterdam was not a good introduction. But anyway, I will put a video explaining why I don't like Amsterdam. So that's just to kind of catch you up on the previous trips that we had going on.
shout out to our friend Chris, by the way, who gave us a wonderful windmill tour.
Yes,
So
that was
we
amazing.
did have some nice things.
So yeah, so that's that. Have we done what other travels did we do?
Since
after
then,
that?
we've also been we went back to Idaho.
Oh
is what we did.
yeah.
And we spent a weekend or so there. I'll let you get into the specifics on it,
Sure.
but we were looking to get to the snow and play around, because obviously we live more in the desert area, and it's just kind of nice to go out and entertain that. But we also had another agenda.
Sure. So with the trip to Idaho, it was one of those trips where I wanted to try house and pet sitting for the first time. And there's this platform called Trusted House Sitters, and I talked about it in some videos that I published a few weeks ago. And really, the way it works, you would travel to a specific destination. You're spending time at someone's house, and then you get technically free accommodation in return of you taking care of their pets. So we traveled to Idaho for that. It was a very nice house sit. Their house was really beautiful, surrounded by the mountains, and we had easy access to some snowshoeing and cross-country skiing trails, as well as some hot springs. So that was really nice. And then we would take care of their pets for, I think it was 4 days or so.
Yeah, they had 3 dogs, and they were all various levels of age and excitement,
Mm.
and they're different breeds as well. But they were very easy to take care of. Actually, it was very nice.
Right.
And our hosts were gracious enough to like invite us to a little dinner party that they had the day before they left, and they housed us the day after. Before
Mm-hmm.
we just took off in the morning to go to the airport. They were so beat from their adventurous trip that they got
Sure.
back to. We didn't get to say bye, but we've chatted with them since via text message. So
Yeah, so definitely even the plan for this year, I want to try more of these type of travels that are, just different than normal vacationing. I want to do a little bit more house sitting, pet sitting, and I want to also eventually try some of the opportunities on work away where you get to go on a working vacation. So I will be talking more about these things in the future, and then we will film a video about our experience with Trusted House Sitters.
sure. Then looking to the future now, right?
Yeah, future. I can talk about the near future, my travel plans,
Okay. And
and
then,
then we'll
oh,
talk about our travel plans.
okay.
Yeah. So not very soon. By very soon, I mean in the next few days, I'm going to be traveling to Canada. So new country on the list, and my first time traveling to Canada. And I'm gonna be traveling there to meet up with a friend, and then just do a little bit of exploring. It's not going to be, a lot of outdoors activities. I don't think so, but just a quick introduction to the country and food, culture, and things like that. And then from there, I'm going to be flying to Morocco to see some family. That's not going to be for long. And then from there, I will be flying to Europe. I'm not going to say where yet.
Okay.
But then Alex is going to be most likely joining me
I
on
can tell
that
you where
trip.
I'm going in Europe, though. I will say, Habiba, I think, left out the train ride that she's going to be taking while she's in Canada. It's
Yes.
not necessarily supposed to be the most glamorous, like luxury dining, fine, like. But I've always wanted to go on train rides, even in Alaska. I wanted to take the Alaska line, even at some point, even just past Denali. A, it was a little expensive, and B, it was a time commitment that we didn't have. But I think riding the train like that would be so cool.
Definitely.
So, but anyway,
Yeah, so we talked about, just the importance of probably trying different modes of transportation instead of flying all the time, maybe trying some train rides, buses, and walking, biking, whatever it is.
sure.
And there's a movie that we started watching yesterday until I fell asleep.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It's a Steve Martin and John Candy film from a little while back where a guy
Yeah,
tries to get home to see his family for the holidays and ends up having to take all sorts of different modes of transportation to best the weather in order to get home in time to be with his family for Thanksgiving. So,
yeah. So that was, I fell asleep at some point, so we'll have to finish that up.
we started the Amazon rental, so we got 40 hours or whatever it is left.
Holy
So,
moly. Okay.
can I talk about where we're aiming to go in the future then?
Yes.
Alrighty. So, we have ambitions to travel internationally still. And it almost is to that point where we're looking for about one major trip a year at the very least for the sake of some sort of hiking or some notorious location. And this year our goal is Mount Elbrus. And I believe we've brought this up before in the past. This really shouldn't be a surprise. It's a reasonable next step big mountain, or one of the 7 summits, in the sense that it is priced reasonably compared to some of the more expensive mountains. It's not as high as Kilimanjaro, but it does present us with a good introduction to what it means to be in a snowy environment.
Mm.
Kilimanjaro had many porters that had to bring our stuff with us from location to location to location, which came with extra cost, extra risk. Um, and we needed to factor that into the adventure. But Elbrus has fixed stations where we just go to and from them, and we don't have necessarily a team of porters with us, which is why some of the price is a bit more approachable.
Right.
So our goal is to go there. However, whether it be in government shutdowns or COVID or just the global sort of relationships
With the Russia,
with
Mount,
Russia.
Mount Elbrus is in Russia.
Yeah, and I just mean over the years though too. Like there's always been something that's kind of like challenging, but right now the relationships with Russia and such are in a spot where it might be unreasonable that we go. And I say might, right there. It might still be
Yeah.
very reasonable even if relationships are rocky, and it might be unreasonable even if things are okay. We're very much trying to react to things, and it's hard to plan very far in advance some of these things and commit to them
Yes.
when there's so maybe not. Either way,
Yeah.
go, I broke the ice the long way. Go for it.
No, I was gonna say it's important because even for training, you kind of have to know that okay, this climb is booked. We're going for it. We have to start training, because we will have to start going out, getting on the trail, long distance hiking, and then just going regularly to the gym. But for the planning, we are set on the company that we're going to be climbing with, which is already a very big step. Although I feel like with this mountain, we didn't really have a lot of companies to choose from because I've been researching about climbing Mount Elbrus way before we did Kilimanjaro, so I kind of knew what company we're gonna climb with. So right now it's just a matter of putting the down payment to book our spots, and then also
Getting the visa.
getting the visa. Yeah, in order to travel to Russia you will have to get a visa if you're American. And then right now, if you guys have been following the news, things are a little bit weird, so we will have to coordinate here with the embassy of Russia in the US or the consulate of Russia in the US and reach out to them and say, hey, we're planning on climbing the mountain, this is the time frame, are you guys going to be able to provide us with a visa? And then once they do, usually with these companies that we're going to be climbing with the companies that we will be climbing with, they have to provide you with an invitation before you get a visa from the consulate. So it's kind of weird. You have to get approval here, and then the company will give you an invitation, and then you apply for actual visa. So the process is not straightforward, but we will give it our best and see if we will be able to make it this year.
And this is where we were saying that in the event that we don't get a visa, we can't go. And in the event that we do get a visa, we still might decide not to go, depending on how things change over the next few months. From a windy UK.
Hi.
Where in UK? I guess I'm curious. My dad spent a lot of time working in the United Kingdom when he was probably, I don't know, it was 20 years ago. I don't need to reveal my dad's age. But he lived there for a while, and we would travel over and spend a lot of time. We would take the ferry over to Ireland. We got lost in Piccadilly Circus. We went down to France, etc. We traveled in and out of the UK several times when I was younger.
Awesome. Yeah.
If I may, with the Elbrus thing, though, we are hoping to get a little bit of ice stuff. We've got 4 members of our team that would likely go with us. The friend that you're going to visit in Canada is one of them.
Yes.
And then our friend Doug, who
climbed
did
Kilimanjaro with us.
Kilimanjaro with us, would come as well. So I think, really the next goal is visa and just kind of take the temperature of that, and if that plays out. Training.
Yeah.
Well, I think booking it, because like you said, booking is kind of that hard commitment. Even though a lot of these companies, you can make a booking by putting a deposit down very early.
Yeah.
And then you pay the rest of it like really close to the hike date. And in the event that something happens and you can't go, usually those companies provide, or they have affiliate companies that provide services around the world, that you can use that deposit for a different adventure. So it's not like you're throwing your money into a big blazing fire, but it does. You do narrow down the areas of commitment, but you can use that money for something else too.
Yeah, well, except that for this company that we're going with, it's a local company. I mean, the one we did Kilimanjaro was an international company. They have a lot of treks around the world, but this one, should anything go wrong, like visa is declined, the area is not politically stable, we would have to wait to climb the exact same mountain with them.
Right, or if they offer other adventures in the area. But the deposit would persist for these folks, though. But again, it depends on the company, you're right, as to what the scope of their affiliation is. But we could climb in 2 years still, and the deposit would hold. We wouldn't need to pay it again.
Yeah, so that's the big climb for 2022. It is compared to Kilimanjaro. It's a technical climb in a way that you will have to have skills of, using the ice axe, using the crampons, and the glacier traveling and such. But it's nothing complicated. And usually, during that time frame, they will teach you all of the basics that you will need before summit day. All right, so let
Is it
me see the
Warrington?
comments.
Is where he said. Where they said.
Liverpool and
Pete,
Manchester.
yeah.
Oh.
I told him, I don't know if I've ever actually been to Warrington, but I feel like I recognize it from a train line. But, huh. Well, either way, well, that's wonderful. What time is it even in the UK right now? We're at 7, so that's 5 hour, 6, 7, 7 hour difference.
Probably
So,
7 or 8.
it's 5 o'clock for you, I think, if I had to guess. Um, awesome. I think is that it for our updates?
I think that's all. I mean, just wanted to see if people had any questions, but really just the updates for the big adventures that we have planned. That's the big solid adventure, and I think just like last year, by way of wanting to train, we're gonna probably pursue some high peaks here in the United States. I have Mount Hood in Oregon in mind that I want to go and climb. It's I think 11,000 feet, less than 12,000 feet for sure. And then we could see if there are some peaks in California and Colorado that we want to pursue.
Sure. And then beyond that as well, I think we had the opportunity to look at Whitney again.
Yes.
I think is the other one that you'd kind of thrown out there. And other adventures that we might have would include other road trip like elements and such as well. We're really waiting for that REI dividend to come back, and then we'll we'll roll the dice. We'll see what we can do, but that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. But for me, I would love to do some long distance, not long distance, long time traveling, like traveling for an extended period of time. That's probably not going to fit into this year's schedule. So it'll probably have to wait.
Yeah, and then other than that, I mean, I think that we've slowly started to want to do some of the 7 summits. So eventually, Australia would be in the lineup because that one's a freebie.
When you say that, I'm just afraid that folks are going to hold us accountable. It's like, oh, now you're
Hey
going for
man,
the
buzz
7 summits. And I'm like,
Let them
no.
come here and see how. Obviously, like there would be ones that are more intimidating than others, but we were just watching videos on people climbing Denali and climbing Vincent. And for those of you that know or don't know, Denali's the highest peak in the United States, North America for that matter, located in Alaska, and that one's pretty monstrous. It's in a very snowy environment,
Yes.
and it comes with a good handful of challenges, and it's not the most comfort laden sort of trip, which is fine. You're dragging a sled behind you, etc. Vincent is Antarctica, and so that one would be an exotic location for sure. So, anywho,
Anyway. All right, we'll just probably give it 5 more minutes. If there are any questions or comments from anybody, and then we'll wrap up. I feel like we haven't done these live streams in a long time, that it's a little bit slow.
yeah, it's fine. People can look at it. We'll give them some nice info. It's nice to kind of know when we're aiming for something. It's easier to kind of have like a line of questioning and association with that.
Right.
Rather than some scattered topics and such from time to time, which
Yeah.
is also good.
But we'll keep you posted on Elbrus. I think my next step, I'm just waiting for a reply back from the company, and then once that's done, probably just start reaching out to the consulate or the embassy and get a confirmation, and then just start the actual application process.
Yeah. And for what it's worth, I believe that Elbrus is in the 18,000 foot range, which I believe makes it the high 5,000 meter sort of mark, maybe low 6. And some of the appeal to us is that they'll have the opportunity to. Said happy. Hi, happy. Hi, said.
Okay.
But it will provide us with the opportunity to get a little bit of snow training as well. So they'll teach us how to use an ice axe and some other stuff. And in that regard, it seems like a good way to kind of enter the snow world.
Yeah.
So.
They have music in the background. I might get some copyright strike on this live stream. Ugh.
It is nice that they are. It's finally nice enough out in Arizona that we can sit out in the morning and not be too cold.
So nice.
We'd had that problem where, like, in the morning it would be so cold that you had to have jackets on, and then in the middle of the day it'd be so hot that if you had jackets you had to shed them, and then night it would get back to cold. But now, I think the whole day is one outfit. Is that a weird thing to celebrate?
No.
Good. Very good. Do you like my? I'm wearing my. This is a Gondora, is what it is, right? It's a small one.
Like
It's not.
half
It's a
one.
half one, but
Half one.
it's just the top. But giving it a go.
All right.
I shouldn't sing along. I can't sing along. Copyright. That's a good point.
Yeah, I'm afraid to. That's okay.
Well, anyway, if that's it, I guess.
Then that's it.
Yeah. We appreciate everybody obviously stopping by just to kind of see, or if you're watching this after the fact, we appreciate you catching up on our
Yes.
goals for the year. So
And I apologize. I'm really behind with content. It's been a little bit challenging for me. I don't know what other excuses I can bring up, but I do have a lot of good content. It's just kind of sitting there waiting, and I'll eventually get to it. So
hey, we've been talking about a hardware update too. Just
yeah,
computers are slugging and slowing down with
right.
all of that creative power. Oh, I keep sticking with this chair.
No idea what is the subject of this live stream.
How do I? I'm touching stuff.
Of this streaming, but I would like to thank you for the video that you did about citizenship. It was so helpful. Oh, Saeed, I'm so glad that it was helpful.
I said that wrong. I apologize.
Saeed. Yeah, so it's actually that one video that I did about citizenship. You know, I don't think that it's really related to travel, but when I got my citizenship, I just figured that I'm sure that there will be a lot of people out there who can, you know, just because I know that a lot of people would go out to pay for a lawyer and start the process, and lawyers are not cheap and it can take some money. So you can most of the time just start the process by yourself. So I'm so glad that that video did so well, and I'm so glad that it's helping people out there.
And even in a lot of cases with hiking or anything, it's nice to kind of have a guide through an area like that where
Right.
you really just kind of want to not go into something blind.
Sure.
And I was impressed with the quality of your video. Obviously, I was born a citizen, so I couldn't go through some of those, but
No, it was fun. It's a very straightforward process. I get some questions and comments on that same video that I don't reply to. Sometimes just because there are some cases that are a little bit complicated. Like I received messages from people telling me, "Oh, my mom was a citizen, but I'm not in touch with my mom, or we don't have this information or that information. How do I go about?" It's like, well, I can't really, you know, advise on some of these.
right, the legal disclaimer.
Yeah. I don't want to be, you know, the cause of some problem with the application.
But sometimes just seeing the form, seeing the way somebody experienced it and such.
Yeah.
And again, that's why we watch hiking videos too, because
Right.
we just kind of want to get in the mind. I remember looking back on things I've done in the past that I was anxious about in the moment, whether it be applying for something or going on an adventure.
Yeah.
So
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next live streams. We'll try to, you know, I don't want to promise anything for right now, but we'll try to do live streams once a month, and then if this climb in Russia is 100% confirmed, we'll try to show up and just give you updates on a regular basis, probably bi-weekly or weekly if it's possible. But thank you so much. This YouTube channel had grown so much, and I really appreciate everyone being supportive and being a subscriber, enjoying watching the content. And thank you.
bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.